Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel for another raid video. We are on day 11 of the Pythion Fusion event. And I want to first of all apologize for the lack of uploads. I had a busy weekend, but we are back on track. And we are going to give an update on the Fusion as well as an overview of where we started in terms of resources before the event and now that we are closing in on the end of the event. So I am at 95 fragments right now. I only need 5 more to complete the fusion. My two options are winning the Classic Arena tournament that I'm currently in. I'm currently in first place, but not by much. You can see this other guy clearly wants to win as well. And this person may also prove to be a challenger, but out of the two options to get my last 5 fragments, it's either win or take first or second place in this tournament, or wait until Artifact Enhancement, which starts tomorrow. Now, I would prefer to win the tournament in the arena because it's easier, it's less resource intensive, and this will be the 3rd Artifact Enhancement event I've participated in, which costs a lot of silver, especially now that they've moved the point threshold further down the reward track. So the plan today is, now that I'm done with everything, including Dragon, you can see the Dragon tournament. I just got, this was 2250 points for the fragments. I'm at 2256, stopping there. Don't need anything else from Dragon. Not going to participate in this leaderboard. So I'm just going to focus heavily into Arena today. Maybe purchase some refills. I do not have any Arena refills in my inbox. I could refill it with gems, but we'll see how hard everyone else pushes. As far as where we're at in resources. So I made a spreadsheet on Excel and I counted my resources before the event started, and before I just started recording this video, I logged in where I'm at as of today, because if I am able to win Classic Arena, then obviously it won't cost me any more resources. It may cost me some gems, so the gem count might change. But if not, and I have to participate in Artifact Enhancement, then the silver count will definitely change. So let's go over the Excel sheet so you can get an idea of where I started versus where I am now, and what I gained or lost during the fusion. So if we pull up the Excel sheet, I had to actually open it in Microsoft Paint because my OBS wouldn't capture it any other way. So here we go. You can see starting left to right, the top row are my resources before the event started, and the bottom row is where I'm at right now. So you can see we have, I started with 42k energy and I ended with a little over 32.5k energy. So cost about, on the surface, just looking at it, you would say it costs about 10,000 energy for the entire fusion. I would say it costs more, only because I do have energy pots saved in my inbox that I did pull so that they would not expire. I've been saving up for a while, and I always save energy pots usually until about a week or two before they're set to expire, because when they expire, they don't actually go into your energy count, they just disappear. So they have to be claimed or else they just disappear. So I've been collecting energy that way. I've been collecting energy through rewards and events, and I've also been collecting energy through daily challenges, weekly challenges, and the daily login. So basically, I think if you stay logged in for an hour, you get an energy pot. So I would say it's probably not double, but it's definitely more than 10k energy. So that number is a little deceptive, and I wasn't quite that intense on tracking to where I counted, every time I pulled an energy pot or every time I pulled energy from a reward tier for an event or a tournament. So on the surface, this looks like 10k energy, but it is, I would say it's significantly more. Silver has stayed almost even, which is pretty interesting to me because I have done 2 artifact enhancement events and will potentially have to do a third. But this just goes to show you, how much you make off gear cleansing and, selling off stuff you don't need. And also, I've picked up a little bit of silver, I mean, from daily challenges and weekly challenges and reward tiers, but not that much. So it's interesting to me that silver stayed the same. You can see I've gained about 1.5k gems, or a little bit less than that, actually. So I haven't spent any gems on energy or any resources because I have so much energy saved up in reserve. So it's nice to see that I've gained gems over the course of the event. You can see I've gained about 300 mystery shards. This is from champion training and buying shards in the market. So anytime a mystery shard pops up in the market, I buy it. And if I'm farming campaign for champ training, whether it's an event or a tournament, I'm getting mystery shards there. But I'm also pulling mystery shards for champ training as well. So it's interesting to see that even though I've pulled a lot of mysteries for food, that I'm still plus 300 throughout the event. Ancients, I'm actually higher than I was before the event started, which is interesting because I pulled about 40 ancients between, well, I think it's just 40 ancients I pulled for Champ Chase because there was a 2x for ancients going on. So I was at like 187. I think I pulled 37, and now I'm back to 185. So interesting. I've picked up. I have more since the event started, and even since during the event I had 150. Now I'm back at 185. So that's interesting. And then also I'm picking up ancients from events, tournaments. I don't know if I bought any in the market, if I had any available in the market during the event, but and I don't know if there was one in the reward track for the Titan event, but basically that's where they come from. I think I might have gotten one or two from dungeons. I know I got one from Spider randomly. You have like a half of a percent chance to get that to drop. So that's ancients. I've lost 3 voids. So I started with 105. I'm at 102. I pulled a handful of voids for Champion Chase. I want to say I pulled 6 or 7. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I know I wanted to stay at a minimum of 100 in case there was a guaranteed void. So I'm at 102. That's good. You can see I've lost 2 Sacreds. I went from 53 to 51. I haven't had a lot of good luck getting Sacreds from Clan Boss during the fusion, even though I've been hitting Nightmare, Ultra Nightmare, and Brutal every day, and getting 2 chests from each. So, we can probably tinfoil hat that on whether they change the drop rates for Sacreds during fusion events. But I'm happy with only being down 2 Sacreds. I mean, spending 2 Sacreds to complete an event fusion is pretty good, so I'm okay with that. Fragment champs, you see I went from 6 to 4. That's because I had to pull 2 epics for the champ chase because my shard luck was so horrendous. So I ended up having to pull 2 epics to fulfill the requirements that I needed for champ chase. I only lost about 70 brews during the entire event, which again is pretty good considering the amount of brews I put into champions. before feeding them for champ training. I think there was 2 champ training events, so only being down 70 brews I think is relatively small compared to what I invested. And keep in mind, I don't brew. I don't normally, and I didn't for either event, like use brews to fully level up a champion. Um, if I have a 1-star champion, I'll give it 1 brew and 3 1-stars to get it to 10, and then I'll make it a 2-star. 2 stars I'll run through 12-3, and then I'll feed 2 stars at level 1. 3 stars I'll run through 12-3 until they're 30, and then I'll put 2 brews in a 3-star before I feed it, and I'll put 4. I think I put 4 or 5 into 4 stars before I make them 5. So, yeah, I'll take 70 brews for an entire event, and 2 champ trainings is pretty good in my book. Same amount of barrels, didn't use any barrels. I gained more 3-star chickens. I gained 4-star, and I gained 1 5-star chicken. I believe those are all from Doom Tower. There may be a couple in the reward tracks, but I try not to use chickens during champion training events for fusions because they do not contribute any extra points. You can't brew up chickens, you can't level them. So I would rather level and brew champions to feed than use chickens just because of the total amount of points. So that's kind of an idea of what this fusion has cost me. I would say I came out very, very well. The 2 fragment champs I had to pull were epic, so I still have 4 legendaries to pull. 2 sacreds for 2 summoning events I think is very good. Starting with more ancients, starting with a little less voids, I think the shard count looks good. Mystery shards, obviously always good to see that go up. That just means more food for more 5-star chickens potentially. It's nice not to have to dip into gems, so it's nice to see that go up. It's nice to see silver stay at the same rate, especially since I upgraded so many pieces to 16, and also I rearranged some gear on some champions, so that costs silver. So it's nice to see that relatively even. I'm not happy about losing 10k energy, and most likely more because of the energy pots I collected. But I mean, energy is really the cheapest thing in the game. So if I can only spend, if my biggest hit to my account resource is my energy count, then I'll take that. I'd rather lose energy than silver. I'd rather lose energy than gems, than shards. Yeah, energy I'm okay with. So now let's go back into the account and look at sort of what I gained from the event. So I will gain Pythion one way or the other, whether I have to sacrifice silver or go hard in the classic arena tournament. I will have him, and I'm not going to immediately pull him. He will stay in here as a fragment champ, probably for the next fusion, or potentially, if I find an area where I really need him, I will pull him for CVC points and build him during CVC. Or if he's so desperately needed, I'll just pull him and build him right away. But I don't see that happening, so he will stay in here as sort of a fragment champ available to be summoned. I would say if you watch my shard pool video, I did record I recorded Champion Chase, but I also recorded Summon Rush. I'll post that video earlier, but just to give you a little spoiler alert, I was able to pull a 3rd Brogni, so he's just kind of sitting here. It's funny because in the video I say, I already have 2 of him. It was a 10x for Brogni, Duchess, and Elva, I believe, and I was like, I already have 2 Brognis, I already have 2 Duchesses. I don't want a 3rd. Of course, what pops out? A 3rd Brogni. Pretty funny. Not sure what I'm going to do with him yet, so he's just sitting there for right now. So getting a Lego during a legendary fusion, I'm not going to complain about. I didn't make any 6-star champions, but I was able to farm a lot of 5-star. So just take Skull Lord Vargal for a second. A lot of these are locked, but this is a chicken. These are all chickens. These. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 13. 13 5-stars. So almost enough to make 3 6-star champions. I'd say it's pretty good. Actually, less than that, 12, because we're not feeding Muckstalker. He is... I'm going to build him eventually for Sand Devil for his sleep. So 12 5-star chickens, not bad. We'll take that. So getting 5-star chickens during an event, definitely something we like. What else did we manage to pick up? I don't know. I think that's two of the things I really wanted to highlight were the third Brogni and the chickens I made. Of course, I was able to gear up some champions. Oh, I did pick up another Royal Guard as well. Went ahead and geared him. He's got to be down here because he's not leveled. Maybe he is leveled to 40. Trying to find him. There he is. So I did put gear on him and level this. This was for artifact enhancement. So he's built, not, his stats aren't crazy, but he's also, 4-star 40. So these stats will get better, but I'm happy with the crit rate and the crit damage. He'll most likely be used for Hydra, so I did put a HP chest on him, I believe. Yep, so just to keep him alive, make him a little bit more tanky for Hydra. So the Royal Guard, the Brogni, which I don't even know if I put gear on the Brogni. No, so he's not geared or anything. He's just sitting here with Rhonda and Gerptuk and Nishak, and I have so many champions to build. My backlog is crazy, not to mention what I have in the vault, all these, but anyways, that's for another video. So yeah, the plan today is to use every token. As you can see, I just got another one in Arena to try and win this tournament. I feel like it's going to be a grind. I cannot remember the last time in the 2+ years that I've been playing that I used gems to refill my arena tokens, because my Great Hall is max, so I don't really care about refilling, but I would rather spend 40 to 80 gems and win my classic arena and get first or second in classic arena than have to go through another artifact enhancement. I just do not want to dip into my silver. I want it to stay above, I want to stay above 100 million, and ideally I would like for it to be higher, but I also want to save my energy. As far as what we have coming up, I'm actually going to buy these. I've been buying 2 stars as well, just to have in the bank for food. So I'll buy all of these. That way the next time champ training comes around, I will have a bunch of 2 stars ready to go to 3. Okay. As far as what we have coming up, we have, first of all, where's this? This Lunar Deck of Fate. This is a garbage event. Do not put any time or effort into this, please. These points I've gotten have come as a byproduct of doing the fusion, so I did not plan on getting these. But the rewards for this, I mean, it's just silly. If you don't know how this event works, you essentially flip a card. It could be any one of these rewards. I believe this is 300 in total. I don't think there's one card that you flip that gives you 300 gems. So I think out of all the cards, you could get a total of 300 gems if you flipped every single one. But these rewards are not worth, in my opinion, the effort and the resources it goes into getting them. And then so there's a layer of RNG over flipping a card and it being something you want. And then there are different rarities of cards. So there's common, rare, and epic. If you pull 3 commons in a row, you get one of these random rewards, which again, who knows if they're weighted equally. If I had to guess, I would say no. It's probably heavily weighted in terms of the silver or the rare book. If you flip 3 blue cards in a row, you get one of these. Again, it's probably heavily skewed in the direction of chaos or the epic book. And then if you flip 3 epic cards in a row, you get one of these, which it's probably skewed in terms of silver and the chaos ore. So everything down here may look shiny and nice, and some stuff up here may look shiny and nice, but it's an RNG event, and so don't get your hopes up. And I'll probably film a video with the cards that I flip and the resources I get just for content, but I'm not going to make an effort into pushing this. The Anniversary Titan event, all these points and these rewards are byproducts of the fusion. So I wasn't hunting points for this. These just came as a result of my progression in the fusion events and tournaments. I'm saving this to open up for a funny video because I know it's just going to be trash. And so that's my progress there. And so what's coming up? This weekend we have a pull 1, get an extra legendary event for Sacreds. This is pretty funny for 2 reasons. One, I'm nowhere close to Mercy for Sacreds because, as you can see, as I said, I just pulled a Brogni, so that Mercy has reset. Keep in mind 2 things. One, it's not a 2x, so you still only have a 6% chance of pulling a legendary, right? So think about that. You have 94% chance to pull an epic, 6% chance to pull a legendary. It's not a 2x, so the rates are the same. And also, if you have any social media presence, if you have any online presence, you will see people who pull, they pull a Trunda and they get a half rack, or they pull a Mortu and they get a Duchess, or they pull a Calvalax and they get a Theodore. You'll see all these crazy pulls because it will happen. But do not let that pressure you into pulling. You still only have a 6% chance to pull a legendary. There's a lot of legendaries in the game that are not good, and that can not help you progress in your account. And I think it's hilarious that they do this after a summon rush, which they move the point requirement so high to where it almost costs 10 Sacreds to complete, and most people pulled 10 Sacreds. Most people who have Pythion unlocked already, most people who have him unlocked already did the full point requirement for the summon rush. So I think it's funny that right after they required so many shards for that event, okay, now here's a pull 1, get a extra free legendary. It's just one of the things they do, and one of the reasons why I manage my resources the way I do, because I know they're going to do stuff like this. It's very common for them to present you with an event that requires a lot of a certain resource, and then right after that event, or the next week, they'll do something that's arguably more rewarding, but you've already used all your resources that the new event requires previously. So You either have to skip it and you get FOMO, or you have to go into the shop and spend real money on shards, right? So it's just typical Polarium. So I don't think my plan right now is to not pull anything for that event, just because I just pulled Brogni, and I mean, if I got no more Sacred Shards, I would only pull one just to get me to an even 50. But I don't even think I would do this unless, I go hit Clan Boss and I get, 2 from Nightmare and 2 from Ultra Nightmare, so I'm sitting at 55. I may pull a couple just because that would be a fluke, almost miracle to get that many. But the plan right now is not to pull for that event. And I was really I was really hoping it was a pull one get extra for Ancients, because I know my mercy counter for Ancients, I'm about 20 or 30 away from a guaranteed legendary. So I was hoping that event would be right around the corner, but it looks like that's going to be further down the road, which makes me nervous because I know I'm going to need to pull these Ancients for something. And I just want to make sure that when I do have to pull them, I'm getting the maximum amount of return for my pulls. So hopefully something rolls around for Ancients. I know we just had 2x, so that won't come back for a while, but yeah, I was really hoping the bonus legendary would be from Ancients, but unfortunately it's from Sacreds. I'm gonna hold on to those. And yeah, this video is running kind of long, so I'm gonna call it there. Let me know in the comments if you've completed the fusion, if you are a couple short and you're crunching right at the end like me, if you got anything good during your pulls for the fusion, and also if you plan on pulling for the extra legendary from Sacreds. But that's all for me, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.